What's up, guys? Mad Fragger back again. I got another fragrance review video for you, and today I'm going to be taking 10 fragrances out of my collection that are the highest rated fragrances on Fragrantica. Now, this is not all fragrances in the universe. This is just out of my own collection. I looked up the rating on Fragrantica for every fragrance in my collection, and then I found out what the top 10 highest rated ones were, and those are the ones I'm going to share with you today. If you're not aware, most of you are, but if you're not, Fragrantica is a site that you can go to find out information about fragrances. You can find out what the notes are. You can find out what other people think about them, what other people feel that they smell similar to. There's a section where people can comment and give their thoughts on the fragrances. But first and foremost, Fragrantica operates within a rating system from 0 to 5, and then based on the votes of the people, they produce a rating, a grade, a score, if you will, of the fragrance, and then they put it on the site up. Like, one of the first things you see when you search the fragrance is it gives it a rating, and that's based on what the people have voted. So these are the 10 fragrances in my collection that rated the highest on Fragrantica. I don't necessarily think that Fragrantica is the end-all, be-all of information for fragrances, but it is a good tool to use, especially if you want to find out just some general information. Sometimes, I will admit, sometimes Fragrantica has put notes for fragrances that aren't the correct notes, that maybe the notes as defined by the house, the manufacturer, are different. So that's not always 100% accurate. Kind of take it with a grain of salt to an extent, but it is a great tool to find out some information about fragrances, and that's the tool that I use to find out which 10 fragrances in my collection are the highest rated, and here we go. So first up, we've got Lattafa Rams Silver. Now, one thing I want to tell you about the way that these rating systems work, you have to keep in mind that some of these fragrances, more people voted than others. So you have to kind of take that into consideration. Like, for instance, if you took 100 people and asked them what they thought about a fragrance, right? Then that's going to be a little different than if you asked 5 people what they think about a fragrance, because fragrances can be subjective, obviously, and maybe out of those 5 people, there's a few people who really like it, but maybe out of the 100 people, there's only a few people who like it. So you have to kind of take that into consideration. So not only am I going to include the Fragrantica score for these, but how many votes there were on the fragrance that produced that score. So Lattafa Ram Silver is coming in at number 10, which is the 10. This is going to be 10 fragrances, and the number 1 position is going to be the one that's the highest rated. The 10 position, which is this one, is the one that's lowest of the 10. So this one got a rating of 4.41 on Fragrantica out of 5 with 1,496 votes. And, I agree with this one being in the top 10. It is a good budget alternative to Ultramall. And there is, of course, 9 p.m. This is very similar to 9 p.m. It's just, this is Lattafa's version, and 9 p.m. is Afnan. But yeah, this one came in at number 10. And I like this one a lot. This is a good clone of what it's cloning. A good representation of what it's cloning. And a good fragrance overall. Sweet, playful, very good fragrance. Next up, at number 9, we've got Prada L'Homme. This one came in at 4.43 on Fragrantica with 11,865 votes. So the much higher total of people voting, and it still came in at 443, tells you how good of a fragrance this is. This is a great one. It's a classic. This is a very classy, very gentlemanly, but versatile fragrance with some iris and very fresh and mass appealing and compliment getter. A little on the subtle side, but still performs really good. I love this one, Prada L'Homme at number 9. Number 8, and this one kind of surprised me a little bit, but remember, this is just out of my collection. Number 8 is going to be Cremo Spice and Black Vanilla. And this is, inspired by Spice Bomb by Viktor and Rolf. It does smell like Spice Bomb. Obviously, it's it's probably one of the cheaper ones on this list. I think it is the cheapest on this list. You can pick this up at Walmart. I think I paid like $12 for this on like a red tag sticker, but I think it retails around the $20 range. But yeah, for a really cheap fragrance, it does smell like Spice Bomb. It does perform really well, and it is a really good fragrance for the money. Cremo Spice and Black Vanilla. This is a good one, and I'm not surprised that it was rated 446. 1,545 people thought that this was a good fragrance, so who am I to argue? All right, number 7, 9 p.m. by Afnan. As I indicated earlier, this is a very similar profile to Lattafa Ram Silver, but I feel like this one is much better. The quality here is great. The similarity to the fragrance that it's cloning is really good, but it's, got kind of its own thing that's going on here, as a lot of these inspired by fragrances do. But 9 p.m. is a banger fragrance with great performance. It smells amazing. It's going to get you compliments, and it definitely deserves to get a good rating. So 9 p.m., out of 8,897 votes, this one pulled a 4.47 on Fragrantica. It's almost a 4.5 out of 5. That's a pretty good Fragrantica score. Next up, we've got Club Black by Mercedes-Benz. This is an excellent fall and winter fragrance. I just did a review on this one recently. I love this fragrance so much, and apparently I'm not the only one. This one, out of 4,186 votes, it got a 4.5, even 4.5 on Fragrantica, and this is a really, really good fragrance. And again, great for fall and winter, great cozy, cool weather fragrance. Next on the list, we have got one that I was really proud to see that made it. Like, I've got some great fragrances in my collection, I feel. Obviously not the biggest or the best collection out there, but I feel like I've got some good fragrances in here, and I was really glad to see this one coming in this list, because this is one of my top 3 favorites in my collection, and this is Chiaka by Cadlage. This is a clone of Reflection Man from Homage, inspired by Reflection Man from Homage, and this is a beautiful, classy, floral fragrance. There's the white florals in this are just amazing. There's lang-a-lang, and just the way they use the white and yellow florals in this are great, and they have a real masculine touch to them, and just this whole thing just comes off so classy and so elegant, and I love it so much. It's a great fragrance. It's also going to remind you of a fragrance like Gucci Guilty Elixir, and this one. Now, there are only 317 votes, but it got a 4.52. And I agree, this is, I'm glad this made the top 10, because that's one of my favorite fragrances and I love it. Next up, Caid Intense. Now, this one here, I've reviewed this on my channel. I've done a couple reviews on this, actually. I picked this up as an alternative to Dior Homme Intense, but then as time went on and I wore this and smelled this, and saw a little bit more about what other people were thinking about it, it appears to be a little bit better representation, more similar to Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé. And it is, that notwithstanding, whatever it's inspired by or what it smells like notwithstanding, this is a great fragrance with some beautiful iris in it, and very nice, very classy, performs really well. This is a good one to have in your collection. Really good fragrance, especially for, I'd say it's a great fall and winter fragrance. Next on the list is another one of my favorites, probably in my top 5 favorites in my collection. And this is going to be Spectre Ghost. Now, this one out of 359 votes got a 4.58 on Fragrantica. And this is inspired by Nishan's Ani, which I also own Nishan Ani in my collection, but I do not wear it because I wear this. This has powerful performance. It lasts really well, projects really great, is absolutely incredible in the cool weather, and it's a really, really good clone representation of Nishan Ani. And I feel like in ways this one's even better. I've reviewed this on the channel and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think that this fragrance in and of itself is better than Nishan Ani in certain ways, and the performance is great. And yeah, again, fall, winter, this is a banger. It's a monster. It's awesome. Spectre Ghost. There you go. Coming into the top 2 now, what I'm going to tell you right now is, technically, I feel like this fragrance here that I'm about to show you is the number 1 spot. Because the number 1 spot, the fragrance that holds the number 1 spot of all the fragrances in my collection, every one, the highest rated on Fragrantica, only had 3 votes. So it's really hard to give any credibility to that being the number 1 at the number 1 spot because it only had 3 votes. But let's just pretend that this one, Cayenne Classic by Awatanya, is the number 1 spot, because this one had 394 votes and it scored a 4.63. And this is inspired by Dior Homme Intense. I've been on a hunt for like the last year to find a decent Dior Homme Intense clone, inspired by fragrance, whatever you want to call it. This is the best one that I've found. This fragrance, if I'd never smelled Dior Homme Intense before, and I tried this fragrance, I would speak so highly of it. It is amazing. Again, great fall, winter. This thing does what Dior Homme Intense does. It's got that classy makeup bag style iris, and it's just so creamy and smooth and beautiful. The quality is great here. The performance is great. It's not beast mode performance by any means, but it is above average in performance and projection. Probably, in my opinion, it projects a little better than Dior Homme Intense, the original Dior Homme Intense. But this type of fragrance profile is really intended to be a little bit more on the subtle side. But yeah, Cayenne Classic, man, what a great, creamy, delicious, cool weather fragrance this is. And it definitely deserves to be where it is. And that's 4.63 is the score on Fragrantica. And moving on to the very last one in the list. Now, again, like I said, this one only got 3 votes, but I said I was going to do the top 10 highest rated fragrances on Fragrantica in this list. And when I looked up all the fragrances in my collection, this one scored the best with a 4.67. Only 3 votes, though, so take with that what you will. And this one is, turn it around, this is Dunhill Platinum, Dunhill Desire Platinum. This has some really interesting notes in it. It's got some rhubarb, and it is like a more of a fall winter type of scent. Very mysterious and dark and rich. The quality is pretty good. The performance is above average. It's not great, but it is above average. It's not too bad. 6 hours, 7 hours. And it is a great fragrance. I don't think that it deserves to have the number 1 spot, though, because it only got 3 votes. And that kind of leaves something to be desired as far as the, as far as that all works. But this technically is in the number 1 spot. I would say that Cayenne Classic, though, is the one wearing the crown. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I just wanted to let y'all know what the top 10 highest rated fragrances were from my collection on Fragrantica. And I'm also gonna shoot a video that highlights or lowlights the 10 lowest ranked fragrances from my collection on Fragrantica. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. I'm the Mad Fragger. I'll see you next time.